Welcome to our weekly Q&A show where we answer submitted questions live on YouTube on Tuesdays at 2 p.m.
Hey, Aaron and Freshie, welcome to the Tuesday show.
Yeah, I spelled my name different this time.
You didn't spell your name different this time. You spelled it incorrectly again.
Well, how do you spell EY?
It's Freshie, I-E, not Y.
Didn't I put IE last time?
No, you put Y last time. And actually, Courtney had to say something. She emailed me about you the other day, and she used the IE, the correct spelling. So if Courtney and I agree on the spelling, that means you're wrong about how you spell your name.
I thought I put IE last time.
You put Y, the same thing. It looks awkward to me. Please fix that for future shows.
Okay.
Everyone, welcome to our Tuesday Q&A show. This is where we answer questions that you've sent us via email or Instagram or mail or fax or however. If you want to ask us questions in the future, you're going to have to figure out Aaron's email address and email him directly. That'd be great. Before we get started, we have questions to answer. I have something I want to share with you guys if we have time at the end, something I've been working on. But I want to do some administrative stuff first. I thought about our show a little bit. Our Friday show is about entertainment. I'll be very clear. The Friday live show, we're just there to like have fun, talk some smack. It's entertainment. The Tuesday show, this is education.
Oh, really?
I really believe this is education. So we're going to try to be serious and properly answer questions, but make everybody aware that like our Friday show is just us on Fridays. It's been a long week. We each want to watch videos and talk some shit. That's what the Friday show is. Does that sound fair?
That's fair, Zachy.
I'm not Zach. Oh, did you do that? I didn't know you knew how to do that. That's funny.
I didn't need it.
Well,
I helped Doug out. I helped Doug out there.
All right. So
Doug is spelled properly.
All right. Enough nonsense, guys. Stop goofing around. This is serious. This is the education show.
The
Friday show, we can talk about this stuff. And I want to let you know that this Friday, we're going to do the regular show from 2 to 3:30. And then we have a special members only show at 3:30. So I have some video I want to share. We talked about this last time. There's some video I don't really want to just get out on YouTube. I don't want to just like have everybody comment on it. It's just going to get weird. And there's certain things I just want to talk about with members, and not to, this is kind of a way to force people to be members. I don't want it to be that. It really is a way to like keep it to a smaller group. So just giving you a heads up, 3:30 on Friday, we're going to switch from the regular show to a members only live show. Yeah, the whole band's back together. So with that, should we get started?
Let's do it.
All right. So we got some questions here. First one is about the Middle Fork, and it asks if there's any top-notch camps on the Middle Fork. I mean, like every river, there's some camps that are like the cream of the crop, but they're all really good. Yeah, I can't imagine there's a bad one, but do I have favorites with hikes, history, etc.? I mean, almost all of them have hikes.
What's the one on River Left where you can hike up to that really nice overlook?
Is that Little Pine where you go to Johnson Point?
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I camped there last week or 2 weeks ago when I was there. Little Pine's a great one with a big hike, but there's all kinds of great camps. I'd hate to tell you my favorite camps because then if we're launching the same day, you're gonna, take them from me. Is that selfish?
You like Stumble a lot, right?
No, I don't like Stumble. I mean, my absolute favorite camps. I mean, Marble Left is really cool. I love Marble Left. Otter Bar. I camped to Otter Bar the other day. It had more sand than I thought, but there's some trees in Otter Bar that make it smaller. But in terms of hikes, I would say anything near Loon to hike to Loon. You hike past the hot spring. I think Johnson Point from Little Pine is really cool. I like Trail a lot. I hate telling people my favorite camps because you're going to take them. But Trail is so sweet because there's a great hike up to Appareo Point. There's just so many.
Like really, most people don't they go farther their first day, or
no? I mean that's a deadhead trip. I mean most people don't camp a trail on a regular trip from Boundary, but if you're launching from Indian, it's on the schedule.
Yeah.
Little Soldier, that's a great one. I've never camped a Little Soldier actually, but I walked up. I had lunch the other day and walked up, and it's a cool camp.
Yeah, that's a neat camp. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Can you? What's the hot spring around the corner on the right? The one with the waterfall down. Can you camp
Sunflower? There? Yeah, with a small group. I've camped like 6 or 8 people there.
Yeah, that seems interesting. I mean, I've always been too big a group, so I never had a chance to camp there.
It's a tough camp. It's kind of a bit of a walk up. It's not my favorite camp. And once you're at Sunflower, the times I've camped there, I've only been sat in the hot spring for like 30 minutes anyway. It's not like you can sit in the hot spring for 3 hours and really take advantage of it. A lot of people camp across from Sunflower. I forget the name of that camp. It has an awful carry up the hill. Everybody who camps there says they'll never camp there again. With Bum, yeah, Sam assigned camps the whole Middle Fork. Yeah, there's no open camps. It's all assigned. You do it the night before. Camps
Which is the one that you can hike over the ridge to get to Sunflower Hot Springs?
That's Little Soldier, probably. I think there's a hike from Little Soldier to Sunflower.
Yeah,
I've never done that hike,
but
I've heard about it.
Haunted. Yeah, people told me Little Soldier's haunted.
We camped them at.
So I don't know if that's just because they didn't want me to camp there because they really liked it or what.
I mean, do you really believe in ghosts?
Haunted? Well, there's creepy camps, I will say. There's camps that make weird noises at night and stuff like that. So
no, that's nonsense. That's just trees moving. Camps are site private groups and commercials, both, all groups. So on a typical day, there's 3 commercial, 4 privates. All the groups go get their camps by taking turns, not just privates.
However, a lot of times the privates aren't there in time, correct?
Yeah, you have to be there by 4:30. And so if you're not there by 4:30 for the meeting, you don't get to do it. So it should motivate. And commercials miss it sometimes too. If you have a flat tire along the way or you're just running late, you can miss the camps.
But even if there's no bad camps. I mean, really, I've never had a bad campsite there.
Yeah, all the camps are great. I mean, there's some camps that are less desirable, like the Grassies. I don't know if you know camp the Grassies.
I like the Grassies too, though. I've done some sweet hiking out the Grassies.
I like Grassy one's actually really cool.
And going up on the ridge, you can go way up high on there. I mean, it's not like a hike for everyone, but it's really a cool little mission up there.
There's a couple of bad camps the first night from Boundary, just because the fires have kind of destroyed a couple of camps. There's a couple of rough camps at the beginning, but yeah, the whole way almost every night there's good options. And they all have their pluses and minuses. Let's go back to the question.
And what I think, going back to the question, is like, it depends on what are you looking, what kind of camp are you looking for?
Great hikes in history is what
interesting
asked the question.
Try to avoid at low water. I don't feel like any are bad at low water. I feel like some at high water are
high water is a problem. Low water, yeah, not even an issue. But for history, I mean, camping near pictographs is cool. And there's one on River Left, Stoddard has some really cool pictographs. It's not my favorite camp because it's a big carry up to the campsite. Once you're at the camp, it's an awesome camp, but it's a bit of a carry over rocks.
It's a sweet. It's a good camp though.
It's a good camp, and there's probably the best pictographs on the whole river.
The pullover is a little trickier than some of the other camps there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lower Grouse is good for history. Lower Grouse is a great camp too, because you can walk to the Tappan Cabin. It's just like a 5-minute walk to the Tappan Cabin. That's a good one for history.
I mean, we're pretty much naming every campsite we could have just gone to every campsite and talked about what's great about every campsite, you know.
I mean, we could do an episode. I have the map right here. I could just open it up and we could bore people to death.
We could go down one by one.
Dougie, do you want to share your favorite camp?
I don't. I've only done it once, and that was about 20 years ago.
Okay.
So say that camp after that eddy, you know, there's a little
on the right,
and the eddy on the right.
There's some rocks there.
Yeah, there's a nice view.
There's a great place to put your tent.
Okay, some good shade, good tent spots and some nice shade.
Yeah, great kitchen spot.
Yeah, great kitchen spot.
Yeah. Okay, so launching August 29th with experience. We're launching August 28th, so I'm not going to be there, but our group is, so you'll probably catch up with us because I'm guessing you're doing a longer trip. But I mean, honestly, like I would pick camps sometimes more off of making your days, and when you're doing the camp round robin, make your days all like a good distance. So focusing less on getting the best camp and focusing a little bit on like having every day be the same mileage, because you can end up having a rough day because you're doing 25 miles just because you want to go from best camp to best camp. So, and it does depend if you're launching it from Boundary or Indian. I'm guessing Boundary. You'll have your pick of the camps because everybody else, all the companies are deadheading to Indian. So you'll have your pick of first night camps. No problem. It's more about last night camps, and they're all good for different reasons.
Sean brings up a good point about shade. Some of the camps just don't have much shade these days.
Mm-hmm. But August 29th, that won't be much of a problem. It'll be a little cooler.
Yeah.
That'll
be a great time to be out there too. That's
Yeah.
a huge-
Zach and Aaron, do y'all
Go
have
ahead.
many people fish from camp? Are you allowed to
Yeah.
fish from camp?
Yeah. Yeah. Some
think-
camps are way better for fishing than others. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, like, yeah, they're all. I mean, I can't think of a camp that's my favorite for fishing,
The other
but
thing,
there's some that are terrible for fishing.
the other thing I say I like about the Middle Fork is you don't have to work. It's not like Grand Canyon where you have to worry about getting to camp. So you can be like, you can stop and do an amazing hike and go hike for, hike up someplace and then go down and cruise around the corner and get to camp as the shade gets there.
Yeah.
Or you can hole up someplace and go,
Yeah.
hang out a little grotto or
You don't have to arrive at
whatever.
camp at 3:15.
Yeah, exactly.
You can choose to get to camp at like 4. Go for a hike or stop somewhere. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty nice.
That's really nice. Yeah.
yeah, camps. But I think just going back to like some getting our perspectives, I would say the best advice I could give you is make your last day takeout be like 1 o'clock. Like camp really high up, camp at Ship Island or somewhere, and make that last day longer. Everybody wants to push out their last day and get there at 10:30, 11, 12.
Oh, God, yeah.
And that's when everybody's there. And they're all fighting over the last camp. People want to camp as low as they can so they can make their last day the shortest. If you're in the Middle Fork on vacation, I mean, as an outfitter, we usually get there at noon. That's just because we get people back. We have people that have flights to catch sometimes. We want to get back to Salmon at like 3 or 4. But if you try to get to take at like 1, 2 o'clock and camp higher that last night, like camp at Elk Bar or Ship Island, and just plan on a big last day, you're going to have a much better time at takeout. That'd be my best advice. Fire Island is unusable right now. There's so much wood in the way. I don't think you even can camp there if you wanted to. I mean, you could figure it out, but I would not camp there. There's just
Remember
like
when
this
that
big
used-
wood pile in front of it.
That used to be an incredible camp.
Yeah, and it burned, and now there's a massive. It's almost comical how big this wood pile is. There's like, I'd say 100 logs stacked up on the island. So where you used to catch the eddy there, it's just you can't even catch the eddy. So I would not camp at Fire Island. Camps with the groove with a view. So many of them.
Oh, great point, Becky. You better get that camp with a good groover view.
Which is one of my favorite camps. Has a great. If you
Yeah.
know where the groover spot with a view, it's not just stopping at the place that has a groover viewpoint. It's knowing where the groover viewpoint is. So you could camp a shelf and not know how to set your groover up.
Zach, that actually sounds like a pretty cool little book, like groover spots on the Middle Fork.
That's a good blog.
You can,
That's
yeah.
Yeah, but
You have
you'll
a little
find
map
no
for
matter,
each camp, where to put it up.
I mean, no matter
That's
where
part
you
of the fun
camp,
is
you'll have
figuring out
views.
your groover spot, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many. Oh man,
You can-
Marble Left. I have the most amazing groover spot where you can like go to the bathroom and do a rock jump in the river afterwards. I call it the poop and jump. All right, let's move on. I gotta move on. 8 days, goofy time, first time. Sweet, yeah, have fun. 8 days is a great length of time.
Yeah.
And with the smaller group, it opens up more campsites. Offer more of it. Yeah, even medium waters you can cherry pick, but when the water's low, definitely average size days. Okay, next question.
Oh boy, lost more.
I think the company Dustin a few years ago, amazing. So Dustin now has his own instruction company called Flow State Instruction. And he works for Oars now. So he's Dustin from Oars. But Dustin's a great guy. We love Dustin. But just so you know, we've been progressing.
He's now Dustin from Wars.
He's not Dustin from Oars. But we should bring up his website, Flow State Instruction. He's an amazing instructor. For those of you that know him, and he decided to go off on his own journey of instruction. Let me see if I can open this website up. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Flow State River Instruction. And yeah, if anybody's looking for great instruction, Dustin does a good job.
Nice.
That's Dustin right there. And
That's
he
a
can.
nice website. That looks good.
He did a really good job.
Hmm.
Yep, it's very professional, just like Dustin. It's safe, knowledgeable, passionate. So I wouldn't suggest booking Quincy for your instruction. I've heard he's not that good. But anyway,
All right.
sorry. We're progressing. We completed many strips on the shoots. My ref member then I want to say awesome. Actually saw Dustin. Oh, sweet. Oh, hey, now with Oars. Is this a question? Oh, here we go. We had a blast navigating Boston Bar. A question for you: twin 11-year-olds and are excited to bring them along next time. If we decide to have them walk around Blossom Bar, do you have any advice for getting that little area on the right side? How do you instruct your guys to pick up people after the rapid?
Did we talk about this before on the show, or
Maybe we already had this question?
I think we've had this question.
Okay. If I was best to pick up people after you make intention to move, I would have them walk the whole rapid. We did answer this question. That's right. Knowing where to get them exactly to the end of Blossom Bar is really hard. And so
I don't. It's funny. I've done it a lot of times, and I don't know where to go at the bottom of Blossom.
It's tricky. I just, if you're gonna do it, I would just plan on an hour or two, just figuring it out. It's hard to explain in words. Yeah, it's.
Is it above the next rapid?
It's halfway down Blossom Bar. Oh, there's a way to get above the next rapid, a longer hike, but you kind of just have to. It's up and over rocks and negotiating, and unfortunately, it's hard to explain. And it's hard to get
the location over where the IKers pick up their kayaks.
Yeah, exactly.
Continue down, yeah.
Yep. It's hard to find that spot. How you would advise after making intentions move. I'd probably just plan on scouting out for like half an hour. Just take your time, find the spot, walk them down there. You may not catch the eddy though. Like your skills have to be pretty solid to catch that eddy on the right in a raft. And so for that reason, I'd probably walk them around the whole thing. Oh yeah, we did talk about this.
Oh yeah, I remember spending a lot of time back. Yeah, it's almost sketchier to have them walk around than to do that. I think last time we almost concluded that, like, depending, you maybe better off taking them in the raft.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, we take 11-year-olds all the time with our guides, but if you're worried about your skills,
I think it depends on the people and the situation, definitely. But
I mean,
it's not like an easy walk around.
We did answer this question, although I think it was a question about getting dogs and kids the last time. But I think so. I mean, what I would suggest, this is a tougher thing, but have somebody walk them up to the trail, which is not that hard to find from the scout, and then just walk them to Paradise Lodge and meet the kids with an adult at Paradise Lodge. Just have an adult walk the kids. It's like half a mile, and then you're there. Of course, then you don't have anybody with you to watch.
Paradise Lodge is half a mile.
It's not that far. I don't know. Do you think it's further or closer?
Further. Don't you have to go through that Huggins Canyon?
No, Huggins is after Paradise.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Wondering if any referrals for rowing instruction in Colorado. Yeah. What's that place called? Canyon River. Let's see if I can find it here. Speaking of river instruction, we're just on this topic. These guys I've talked to them a bit. I really like them. Yeah. I mean, I haven't taken a class with them or I haven't met them in person, but they seem pretty solid and they seem to know what they're doing. Alicia is one of the main ACA people. I think she developed the curriculum. So I think she's pretty solid. And Alan's, I think he's more of a kayaker rescue, Soto rescue person. And I don't know who these people are.
Yeah, it's like
they look super
going
nice.
back to the Blossom Bar, it's 1.3 miles approximately.
Or half a mile, whatever. 1.3.
1.3, half a mile. It's about the same.
Yeah. Whatever. It's not that far. I've done it before. It's not that far. Anyway, so I'd recommend checking out Canyon River Instruction for those of you in Colorado. All right, pins and clips. Remind me, stayed in my boat with one paddler, got stuck. Yeah, cool. Learned all right. So despite all your mess, I went to all rights. So he's saying he likes the pins and clips.
Yep, he's like you sold him on it. Now he's got his Raptors. He's dealing with Raptors with pins and clips, which is kind of annoying. But it depends how big in diameter your Raptors and how easily they fit in. And I'd say the big thing is how easily they fit in and out of the stirrups.
Dougie,
if you can get him in and out of the stirrups pretty easily, then if you take the rope wrap up, you may be able to get him in and out of the stirrups too easily. But if it's really challenging getting on the strips, then yeah. But taking rope wrap off is a pain. So,
Dougie, I know you got regular. What kind of oars did you get? I forgot. We talked about this.
I got wrapped oars.
Okay.
I'm going to plan on using Orrites.
Okay.
I don't know if I made the right choice though. It was a tough call. I think part of it was Amy's going to be learning and I'm rusty, so I figured it'd be good to start with those. Maybe if I start turning pro again, I'll switch it up to pins and clips.
So you think pins and clips are more pro? Is that what we're hearing?
That was hilarious. Yeah, when I get pro, I'll use pins and clips.
When I figure this rowing thing out, I'll upgrade to the right thing.
I mean, that's what I learned on back 25 years ago, and
pins and clips.
I love the solid feel of knowing where your blade is and being able to pull on it. And yeah, I don't, and spinnies. I just don't feel like my wrists are up to the challenge of.
That's right. You have those wrist problems too. Huh?
Yeah.
So you got Orrites, so you don't have to have spinning.
I have Orrites, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't used them yet though, because of my back injury. I've been holding out, but I'll probably do it next month sometime. Try out the.
I'm really curious why he likes pins and clips more than Orrites now. I have put my clips over the top of rope wraps a bunch of times.
Okay.
It works fine. Sawyer might get mad. Like I would call Sawyer. Maybe this is a great question for Sawyer. They might say there's a reason you shouldn't put your clip over your rope wrap, but I've done it a bunch.
It seems like it shouldn't affect it because it's a bigger surface. It's not a smaller surface for that.
But Aaron's right. Depends on the diameter of the oar. Because if the diameter is a bigger diameter and you have a rope wrap, it's gonna be hard to clamp it on. But you can force it on. I mean, you can just take a rubber mallet, and I just beat it on.
You could also.
So you're talking about beating the
clip
the clip onto the oar.
Yeah.
So there's that problem. There's about the clip beating the oar.
Here's a pin and clip. So like if that diameter doesn't match the rope wrap, I'll just take a rubber mallet and just beat it on there, and it will like deform the ropes a little bit, which is
Zach. I was more talking about feeding it through the stirrup because it gets too big and the whole thing altogether gets hard to fit through the stirrup to get the oar on, if that makes sense and off.
What could you make a stirrup out of to make a slightly bigger stirrup?
Well, the white ones were great. The white ones
they do, but sometimes I've had where the combination of the rope wrap with the clip on top makes it hard to get through the white stirrup.
That's nonsense.
I've had that problem.
Okay, once maybe with the I've never had that happen.
With the cool Sawyer oars.
Aaron, this is pretty big space.
Go ahead. It's not that big.
It's pretty big.
I feel Aaron. I think
I've had that frustration.
Even without the wrap, it's been hard to get them through sometimes.
I've unclipped the little screw, the little thing on top, and put it down on there to do it.
But it worked fine then.
Yeah, but I don't always run that type. I don't like that type of pin. I prefer the other type of pin.
I prefer this kind.
Yeah, that's the kind where your little ball pops up in the middle of wrapping.
No, it's really easy to fix. You just put a lock washer.
I put the lock washers on there. I've seen that, and I still haven't pop.
They don't pop. Anyway, I like this more. We can disagree. I'll tell you what we both agree on is don't buy the floppy ones.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah.
So NRS sells the floppy ones, and people buy that. And we're gonna watch a video Friday of somebody using the floppy ones, making it a problem. Buy the hard plastic ones, and NRS sells the plastic ones too. Don't buy the floppy ones.
Yeah, you can. I've heard people make them out of old kayaks.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Just cut the old kayak material out, and you just cut to the right size and bend it, and it works really well.
Maybe a plastic bucket, similar material.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
it's not as thick, but
it's not as thick. I don't think it's quite as thick.
Yeah, it might not be strong, but yeah, you could probably make something if you needed something slightly bigger.
That's the end of our questions. I want to finish up here though. He went on. There's more to his question where he asked for a shirt, and I'm working on a Shopify store when I have time to sell our swag. And this is the same person who came up with the India trivia question, and he asked if he could get a shirt for the trivia question. And while we appreciate your enthusiasm, we can't just give out shirts willy-nilly to everybody who wants one. But hey, I've just got to keep it real because as soon as I say yes to this one,
you got to put a line. You got to
draw a line in the sand. But
do you have a shirt, Zach?
Yeah.
Gear Garage shirt?
No, it's a Northwest Rafting Company shirt. The one I wore the other day.
Can't you just do it through Arctic, Zach?
I can, but like I don't like the system. I don't like that. I'm trying to create a new store that's easier to manage. That store is difficult to manage. We've made a bunch of mistakes, but we'll have to come up with a way you can win a T-shirt. Maybe a trivia question on Friday or something. Or if we think of a trivia question today, I gotta make a little bit of a challenge to send out.
Okay, we got some more questions, more comments here.
All right. The instruction. Why is instruction in quotes, Willie Bum Bum? The instruction industry.
He's making fun of you, Zach.
Why?
Maybe he's not making fun of him. Maybe he's just
No.
Hey, we just meet a demand. I'm not. We offer some.
I don't think
classes.
he might not be making fun of you.
Maybe he's not talking about the rafting industry. Maybe he's just talking about the instructing industry as a whole.
There's a lot of people. So, but that's again why, I think it's good that we have Dustin with Flow State Instruction, Nicole with Nature Nicole Whitewater. We have Canyon River Instruction. We have Arda, who does instruction and oars. So lots of possibilities out there. And
Lake Tahoe Community College, Zach.
That's right. I was trying to think
Northwest Rafting.
Yep. Although our
you
classes,
have a different name for your
our classes for next year are almost full. We're gonna probably add some more, but I'm trying to promote other people because we're filling up pretty fast. Okay, next one. Thanks to the wreck of a local instructor, look forward to learning our new sport and new boat. Now, please tell me how I can wait. Do you guys understand how I can wait until our board is ready?
He's saying, how do I wait until March?
Yeah, how do I have
can't wait. He's like, how do I be patient? Watch the show.
Become a member. That's how.
Watch all of Zach's old videos.
We'll have lots of wind footage here pretty soon.
Wind season is almost here. Yeah. Oh, glorious.
What about Loctite?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
But doesn't that it almost glues it on, right? I do want to come off if I want.
There's two Loctites.
Okay.
There's you can get it off, and you can't really get it off. So the one that you can
they
get
just
off,
over the years we tried all the different things and it came off.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say they come off. You got to check them.
You have
to
just check
them. Just check them once in a while.
You got to check them continuously. It's got to be like a nervous habit.
And what they're talking about here is you just every so often tighten your balls. That's all you do.
Tighten the balls.
Tighten your balls.
Every time you're above a big rapid. Yeah, tighten them.
Well, we used to say that when I was learning to row. They'd be like, "Hey Zach, are your balls tight?" Above clavy, and they're like, "Oh, I gotta tighten them up." That was the funniest thing. Or you can get the kind of Aaron's talking about, which I don't think you can even buy that kind anymore, Aaron. I think
you can.
Where?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Where? Yeah. CRMAX still runs them. I mean,
I don't. That's CRMAX. Where do you get the rubber thing? Where do you get the rubber thing?
I think NRS still sells them.
They don't. Look it up, Aaron. I think you're wrong. Yeah. A buddy tried the plastic bucket, and they both ripped. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I heard something with the bucket too that didn't work. Yeah.
Blue Loctite. That must be the kind that doesn't stay. Really good vibes. Just using quotes out of place. It's not grammar.
Yes, we are the grammar police.
What parameters or guidelines do you utilize to step in or rate to prevent overuse injuries? Oh, this sounds like a Dougie kind of question.
I think I would say pull a lot, even downstream when it's calm, like push and pull to both to change it up. Just change it up as much as you can.
That's how I hurt my back, Doug, pulling the reservoir on the Tuolumne.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was windy or something?
I pushed most. No, because we were doing it over and over and over, and I was pulling.
Yeah.
I used to race Zach and Steve and try to beat them. And
And the key word there, the important word is try to beat us.
I always beat Zach. I just could never beat Steve.
Come on, no way.
That was the problem. So
I raced Zach once when I was pulling and he was pushing. And he still beat me. It was a little closer than otherwise, but
of course, duh.
Yeah.
Over. So are we gonna answer this question or just?
Well, I think there's a lot of variables to this. I would say. I mean, first of all, Mike, how much you're rowing with it is, and how much. I think some of the problems is off the couch, going to do a Grand Canyon trip and hammering hard right away. And so I think there's problems like that in terms of that's not. We're taking a step back. That's not just your rig, but what we're going to talk about your rig is just make sure your body's trained and used to doing it. And then there's a problem about just doing it too often. And then I'll say most of my problems with overuse issues have been with wood oars running spinnies, and the wood oars aren't straight, and so you're fighting them all the time. It gives you a lot of wrist and forearm problems. So that's where I've had most of my problems, or wrist and forearms. And most guides I know have wrist and forearm problems from running spinnies. But they'll all tell you spinnies are way better than pins and clips, and you shouldn't run with locks. But they always talk about that they wake up in the middle of the night, their hands are numb, and they're having these problems. So it doesn't make, the conversations don't make sense. They're not rational. But so that's the main places I've seen issues with the warped wood oars. How about you guys?
I row a lot and I don't get overuse injuries. So it's hard. I can't totally relate, but some things that make sense to me is like, yeah, when they spin, that's just like more use on your wrist and your forearms. So using either pins and clips or oarites to help keep them from spinning makes sense if we're worried about it. And I would be rowing how you do a push-up. That's how you're the strongest, the most like natural to like have your oars the proper distance apart from each other, which means when they're down low, they're almost touching. When they're up, they're like right at your shoulder level, like you're doing a push-up or like you're doing like a natural rowing motion. And so when they're too far apart, this I think makes for awkward like use of your shoulders. And so having the oars set correctly, I think is huge. And in terms of like how far apart they are and then how high or low they are to you.
Yeah, good points.
I would say most of my injuries haven't been from overuse. They're from like a big pull above a rapid, like trying to pull really hard if I'm late to make the move or something. So
like being jarred, like something happens and the oar gets jarred and to put some stress on her shoulders.
That too. But I would say trying to just have good posture, sitting up straight and not rounding your back too much when you're pulling. And then also I would say that a lot of back injuries happen in camp too, carrying heavy stuff. So that's the main place to watch out for too.
That's true. Put in takeouts. Yeah. The other with the oars, I've noticed people having problems with the oar forearms is they're holding the oars too tight. They're like holding the oars really tight versus just a soft, relaxed, particularly when you're pushing, not holding them tight, just having them be in your hands and pushing.
That's interesting.
And then you have more ergonomical, because if you're pushing tight, you can be at a weird angle. But if you're just holding them there, you got to get your hands behind them in the right spot just to push them through.
Aaron, you sound like a sea kayaker.
Well, I mean, that's funny. That's right. That's true. It's true. Sea kayaking. I learned from Roy.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'm going to say, Zach, is you row a lot of light boats because you spend a lot of your time on the wind. And I think rowing the heavy boats is also a lot harder. When you're rowing little light boats like Zach rows, which is actually true, it's a lot easier on your body. So I think that helps too, is not overloading your boat and keeping your boat lighter makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's true.
Taking a gear boat down the wind next time just to prove to Aaron.
Yeah, feel full. Yeah, do it for.
I would talk some smack right now, but I just did on my last metaphor trip. I just did 6 days in a paddle boat. I didn't even row a boat for 6 days. So, I mean, I can't think of the last heavy boat I rowed was probably in April. We did a lot of paddle boating.
And going back to Doug's thing, I think it's important to switch up how you're rowing too. It's not just to row the same all the time. Switch, pull some, push some. I like to stand up and push, but make sure it's all ergonomical as you're pushing. But change how I'm sitting, change how I sit in my seat. Always moving around a little bit.
The other thing I just thought of is when I watch people row, they feel like they always have to be rowing. People are always pushing, always pulling. Sometimes you can do nothing. And so you don't sometimes you literally can float. So take some breaks. The river is moving you. And so especially people that come from a drift boating background, they want to pull upstream the whole time and they just wear themselves out when you can just do nothing. You don't have to always be making a maneuver.
And that's why some people really like the spinnies, is because it's easier on your back because you can just spin them and just let them sit in the water and you can float and they're not going to get affected much by the current. So that is a nice thing about spinnies.
Aaron, here's a question for you, bro.
Why no love for the wind? Oh, Sean, I love running the wind. I tire of seeing, here's Zach running the wind again. Here's Zach running the wind. Look at him take the exact same line he takes every time through the wind. So
I changed my lines. All right. What about, I think cross straps are awesome. I think for kids, for small kids, what, Aaron?
Oh, just let's see, cross straps. When's the last time you wore a cross strap, Zach?
I've never worn one.
That's why I laughed. I was like, "Oh, they're awesome, huh?"
They are. But I want to. So we have some kids that are a little smaller this week and next, and so on small kids, PFDs don't really fit. They don't stay on. So using cross straps for kids, I think, is crucial. And then anybody who's pear shaped. I'm not pear shaped yet, but when I become pear shaped, I'm gonna wear a cross strap because the PFD kind of like it doesn't go over your body. It would come off.
Doug, remember he said this. So we get to put him one day. We'll be like, Zach, it's time for that crotch strap.
That's fine. It's fine. I'll be ready.
But Zach, I agree with the crotch strap. Actually, we have one on Ada's little life jacket that she has, and I feel way more confident about it staying on her and staying on properly. And you can pick her up on the life jacket, and it all. Yeah, crotch straps are fantastic.
Depends on the person.
Can you use any kind of strap, or is there a special aftermarket strap you're supposed to use?
I mean, the one that NRS makes is literally like a strap with a buckle on it, so it's not anything fancy here.
Is it a clip buckle or is it a cam?
I'll bring it up. It's a no. You're basically just tying your.
Yeah.
You're just tying.
I do worry a little about the entrapment issues with that strap. You know, like
potentially,
as long as you can keep it snug.
That's why I want a clip. Like if it's a clip like this, it'll break free with a certain amount of force.
It's these clips. Do you see this?
Yeah. So it's just a belt. Yeah.
It's just like it's a really simple I mean, it's just a strap with a plastic.
Do you run 2 or 1? Because on the kids ones they have all got
the one. Kids ones have 1. Yeah. I think for adults I do 2.
1 on each side, huh? Like 1 over each hip.
Yep. And you have to have a PFD that matches it though.
But I could see. I could see rolling on a slant board and getting it stuck on the slant board.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it could for sure.
I mean, I can see problems with those.
Larry used to wear one, right? Remember back in the day.
So, like, if you're gonna wear an NRS Zen, this doesn't even have like the loops to have a leg strap. So that's not really gonna work. But you'll notice that. I don't think it does. Maybe I didn't see it, but
go to the NRS guide. Click on the.
I don't think the guide has it.
The whitewater guide doesn't it have them? I think it does have it.
Oh, I think right there. There's little places. Yeah.
There's little places. Yeah. I think there's places.
There's little loops at the bottom. I know that because we have this on this. We have this PFD. Is it this one? No, it's the regular Type 5 PFD. Huh? Where's the regular Type 5 PFD? Maybe they took it down. I don't know. Anyway, like a lot of the PFDs have like the extra sport ones. We use the extra sport PFDs. They don't have the little loops to put the strap through where the NRS ones do. So it's a little different. But I think for kids and pear-shaped people, and those of you that like you're worried about your PFD coming off for any reason, I think it's sort of critical. They'll do work with the gentleman. We just got called gentlemen. Usually we get called bad names. Mike, thanks for being polite. Yeah, I think Dougie would love to work.
Doug's the theoretician.
Doug's the smartest one here, so we should let.
Yeah,
we'll let.
This is a
he's also the
glasses on everything.
He's also the most gentleman of the 3 of us. He's an actual gentleman. Yeah. I would use that term lightly around Aaron and I. Use your body weight. Yeah, that works too. Yeah, I think like I'm not rowing like this. I'm kind of pushing into it like that. So I'm like dropping my body into my oars, or I'm pulling back with my body and oars and arms can last.
And just to be clear here, if you're not super buff like Zach, I don't start like this and push like this. I just do like this here.
Yeah, Aaron looks like a nerd out there. Yeah, Aaron.
But I'm not. I'm not as big and strong as Zach. So I can't.
You're big and strong.
Use my guns.
You don't use your guns when you push. Use them to pull. Now, this is Mark Rivers, PT, DPT, badass. And for the record, PT stands for physical therapist. DPT stands for doctor of physical therapy, I believe. And badass just means he's a badass. So he's probably a good person to answer this question better than I.
What's the oar handles part? Because I know there's 2 sizes that Sawyer makes, and there's also the shaped ones.
Yeah, bigger or smaller is better, Mark. That's a big question.
I think it depends on your hands.
I think I like a little bigger. I feel like a little bigger are easier on my wrists and my hands.
Yeah, if you have adult size hands, that works. But if you don't have adult size hands, you might want smaller oars.
The ones that we just got, I got the smaller grips because Amy has smaller hands.
Yeah.
To try out, and I figured it wouldn't make too much difference for me. I feel like when you're pulling, even a little bit smaller is probably better for your fingers.
Yeah.
But I think the pushing, having a little bigger for the push seems.
I mean, I think Mike, you should talk to Mark Rivers, PT, DPT, badass. Actually, he'd probably be the best person to talk to because he's a physical therapist and he rows a lot. He knows what he's talking about. We could have we just spent the last 10 minutes giving our opinions when this is the quick answer.
We did cover the posture. We did say have good form. We didn't say anything about the right length oars, but that was a good idea too.
How do you feel about wood floorboards that hang from the frame to take wood out the floor? Aaron, do you want to be good cop here or bad cop?
No, you go first. I want to hear what you have to say on this one.
All right. I think the reason I would use wood floorboards is to keep sharp, metally things from resting on your floor. If it's super low water and I want all the way to my tubes and not on my floor. So if I'm running the middle fork at like 1.5, I want my floor to be light. I don't want things on it, so my floor can go over things. But if my boat's floating in regular water, I don't really like the wood floorboards because they're just one more thing to pack, and they're more weight. It's one more. It's like way more. If I'm just gonna put like dry bags and things on the floor, I'm just gonna put them on the floor.
I pretty much. Let's be clear though. There's. Are you talking about a beaver tail in the back? Or are you talking about a floor underneath you to stand on? And the beaver tail in the back, I totally agree, Zach, with what you're saying there.
Or the front. Depends if we use them in the back when we're guiding, but like when people have a gear boat, they might put them in the front and the back. Again, if I'm putting a metal groover on the floor or rocket boxes, I want something to protect the floor. But if it's just bags, I'll just rig them down to the floor.
But I mean, even like the, what's it called? The Johnny Partner toilet, like that's no different than putting a piece of wood on the floor in a lot of ways. I mean, they're pretty smooth bottom.
Yeah, if it's a Johnny Partner, I'm gonna put it on a wood thing.
I think if it's really heavy. If it's a full Johnny Partner, I'd be a little bit more worried because it's got so much weight. But an empty one, I wouldn't be as worried.
Well, they don't, Aaron. They become full eventually. It's not like you run an empty one the whole trip.
I'm just saying it's how heavy it is. It makes a difference in my mind. But I think more important for me is that I don't like the wood floorboards for a couple of reasons. When you're hanging them, I feel like particularly in like your well area, is over time they warp and bend, and they're not that firm. I'd much rather get something from Pro. Like we finally got some Artisan Pro with some of those aluminum floors, and they're way better because they're firm, they're solid, they don't bend at all, and you can rig stuff to them. And I like having the floor when I'm rowing. I like to stand up and row. I like not slipping underneath my boxes in front. I feel safer when I have a solid.
And I don't like a floor when I'm rowing unless I have to have one. Like if I have to rig stuff in there, like I usually have ammo cans or a toilet or something to rig next to me. I have it. But if I don't have to rig stuff next to me, I don't want a floor.
Well, see, I'd rather have stuff rigged next to me because then your weight's more centered around you and it's not so far out at the ends.
I just like, for me, these wooden floors that hang, it's just more stuff. And so if
I
can
agree.
leave stuff behind, I'm happier. So one more thing to rig and de-rig and like, and so like if I can avoid the wooden floor, I'll deal with stuff being weighted differently.
But Zach, if you're sitting on a cooler, you would row that without a floorboard?
I don't stand and row.
But even sitting on a cooler, I feel like
you can slip underneath the boxes in front of you. I've seen that happen. It's happened
to me before.
Trip. Yeah,
it happened to me once. Just you gotta be careful. What happened to me was my foot got between the wooden floor and the boxes. That's when I hurt my foot. I slipped between the floor and the boxes. So if I'd had no wooden floor, I probably wouldn't have gotten hurt that time I got hurt. But it's the pluses and minuses. I'm just like,
I'm just gonna say though, like I said, the wood floor though, they don't hold up as well. Even if you use the marine grade plywood, if you're doing it in the middle.
Yeah.
If you're sitting them on the floor, they
last long enough. Once they start to warp, replace them.
They work pretty fast, particularly if you're a bigger guy and you're actually hanging them.
They don't.
And you don't have that purchase. They flex a lot.
Mm-hmm. Aaron, what is the aluminum one you got? Does it have a frame around, like a tube frame around the outside?
It's basically like the ones that all the Grand Canyon frames. When you go down and do a Grand Canyon trip, the floors they have there that you stand on.
I think that's great for the Grand Canyon.
No, we use them in Idaho too. And
where? Who'd you use them with? Arda has metal floors.
Yeah.
You said that like you were lying to me.
No, Arda. I'm telling the truth.
They caught you in a lie.
They have better gear than
metal
you, Zach.
floors.
Zach,
metal floors.
Better. Zach's like, oh boy. Yeah, they're
I don't like
it with their gear, Arda.
No.
So
I'm not into the metal floors. It's harder, and that's all for us. Like, I don't want metal floors because it's just harder to like load in a truck. You gotta be
no, but you just keep them with the frame. You just like pull them up in the frame and leave them in the frame.
Yeah, we don't do things that way. It's nonsense. Anyway, I think taking weight at the floor to me is not a big deal. The answer to the question is it only matters if I'm running something super low water, like the Illinois at like 650, the Middle Fork below like 1.9, the Rogue at like 800. Then I might think about getting weight off the floor, but
But then I've seen the problem with that is I've seen people do that and then they run the floor really, really soft. And I've seen rocks come up and catch because the floor is so soft. The rock comes up and just like cuts through both layers of material when it hits the board.
The board, yeah. So
it's almost worse. If you had air in it, it would have given a little more, and it probably wouldn't. It would have put
air
a
in the floor
layers. If you had more.
Yeah, you gotta have some air in the floor. You can't have a flat floor.
But people like to run them really soft when they do that.
I like to run the medium soft. I'm aware of the super flat floor problem. So when we do it, we actually have soft beaver tails. They're a fabric. So when sometimes we use the wood ones, but when I deadhead, a lot of times I put a soft fabric in there.
Then do you like rig it down really tight on top, or do you have it so it can kind of blob up if it needs to?
I rig it really tight on top because I rig my stuff pretty bomber.
Because if you rig it really tight down, then you're pushing it down onto the floor.
Yeah, not if it's soft. If it's soft, it'll push the thing up.
That's kind of why I like sometimes you bring your dry bags to the frame so the dry bags can go up and down real easily.
All right. Do you like the idea of barely rigging your stuff in there? Like, let me just kind of rig my stuff in, and then if I wrap it, my bags will just float down. I'm not in that program. Like
the breakaway method has its place as well, but I think
the breakaway method is not a method.
Sometimes you have to be careful about rigging stuff down too hard.
He says he purposefully doesn't rig his bags in, so when he wraps, his bags will float away.
You could go back and watch it. And
he calls it the breakaway method.
Yeah, we had a previous episode with Steve Welch, and Steve was into it as well.
No, Steve, you guys are both vested.
I could see advantages sometimes.
Here's the question, Doug. If you don't have one of Zach's really cool, expensive dry bags, you got an old roll top dry bag.
Which is what I read.
If you have an old roll top dry bag and your boat, you see your dry bag.
If your dry bag isn't dry, that's what you're saying. If your dry bag isn't a dry bag,
that's what he's saying.
It stays pretty dry.
Dry bag.
It stays pretty dry. But anyways, if your roll dry bag gets wrapped on a rock in a boat, would you rather see it pop up and float downstream into an eddy, or would you rather have it stuck underneath?
I'd rather see it. Yeah, I'd rather see it float down into an eddy, but they don't always float down into eddies. Sometimes they float forever.
No, that's why I say I don't do it at high water. I just do it at low water when they're,
guys, we're switching away from education. Now we're back in entertainment.
For example, on the Tuolumne at low water, you start with paddle boats out in front of us. You're not going to lose
your bags.
Would you say out in front of you?
You'd have paddle boats out in front of you.
Okay. Yeah. If there's tons of people,
what if you're lead boat?
They just pick them up.
Do you always have paddle boats in the lead, Aaron? What if you're lead boat?
Not always, but when
okay. So you're assuming there's paddle boats in front of you, and you're assuming it will just nicely plop into an eddy.
No, Zach, I'm going to say I only do the breakaway method when I know I'm going to have paddle boats.
Breakaway method. The break, please, nobody follow the breakaway method. It's bad form. And I feel the
same way about
tying my stuff in the back of a boat. Yeah, I'm going to tie it in well. Like you're taking this lazy approach here.
Zach, you never do a gravity rig?
No, there's two things that are going to happen here. One of them, you're being lazy, and two, you probably did wrap and lose some bags. And now you're like, oh, that's the breakaway method. Like you're basically coming up with an excuse for the mistake you made at some point in the
It
past.
happened. I will say you're kind of true there.
There you go. You wrapped, your bags came off, and you're like, hey guys, this is the breakaway method.
No, what happened was we were on a trip and somebody wrapped, and there was some bags. This has happened on multiple trips I've been on.
Okay.
Where you've seen boats wrap, and then some bags come free and they float downstream. After a couple of trips of going to camp and the people whose bags got stuck on the boat and didn't get off, and seeing them pouring water out, and the person whose boat floated away, all their stuff is dry, you start to realize, ooh, it's kind of better if your bag floats away because it's not one of those.
Not always. A couple times it's not always. You saw this a few ways. One, get a better dry bag. Two, close your dry bag correctly.
So Zach, the dry
bag. As a trip leader, you should explain how people close their bags.
Do you provide?
Yeah, we provide Jack's plastic bags that stay dry.
No,
our Jack's plastic.
The roll tops, they're held underneath long enough. They're going to fill with water.
It's not how long they're held underneath. It's if they're closed correctly or not. And like
I agree, it makes a big difference.
The Sotar bags people use a lot. The Sotar bags aren't really waterproof. Like the Sotar bags, there's like you're going to get your stuff wet. But like the Jax bags, they have the little closure thing where it comes on itself, and if you close it correctly, it will stay dry. But not everybody closes them correctly. Anyway, can we
All
move
right.
on?
So Zach, I would like to see next week. I'd like to see
No, you're not gonna
you
see
Riverside taking some of your favorite electronic equipment, putting it in a dry bag, rolling it, and sticking it underwater for a while. You're like, here we go.
I would. But Sean thinks you're being insane. I'm just.
That was a long time ago. That was from.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We got to go eventually. Having a strap under your boat to facilitate air knowledge.
Oh God. Yes. This is like, if you watch our Friday show, this is a common theme of people like eating it and not being able to self-rescue. And you need to have a way to get on top of your boat when it's upside down. I run flip lines on boats all the time. 40-foot high side extent. I run them on 14s depending. I have some sort of setup. I don't always run a full line across the bottom. Sometimes go through a couple. One thing that we've talked about a lot of different options, but just going through a couple of the drain holes in the four corners, or some people pull them up. Just finding some method for you that minimizes the risk of getting caught when you're rafting. It depends on the type of river you're running, and that allows you to climb up on top of the board when it's upside down. And I'll also say, once right side up, having a strap across your thwart to make it easier to climb on the right side up boat as well. Like, make your life easier. So.
Yep, Johnny, this is especially at high water. This is huge.
I hadn't thought about the right side up one. That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot easier, yeah.
NRS and through the little loop at the back bottom of big water. NRS leg straps to go. Yeah, it goes under legs and through the loop of big water. Yeah, the loops of the loops on the front and the back of the big water PFD are for these leg loops, specifically made for these.
So it looks like a climbing harness almost.
Sort of. Yeah, sort of. I
mean, it looks like one, like in theory, but doesn't actually look like one. These are the smallest little straps. I would not recommend climbing in them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what Sean's referring to. Crust, anyway.
I think the PFD.
Whitewater Guidebook has it.
A company called 4.6 makes R3 model. Has 32 pounds.
4.6. I thought. Did we look up to?
There, I brought it up. It's right here. This is one of them right here. What was the other one he mentioned? This is the Rescue Tech. What's the
R3 model? He said
the R3. Let's look at PFDs.
If they have one, that'd be cool. If they have one that doesn't have all the stupid stuff on it.
Well, does the stupid stuff really matter, Aaron?
Well, yeah, it does. It's annoying. It creates drag.
So
I'm happy to see they have so much. Dude, dual throw bags on your PFD. That is awesome, Zach. That's your new rig right there.
That's not my new rig.
And although it's got multiple. It's got multiple. Wait, what are those? What is all that stuff on there, man? That is crazy.
These PFDs are designed for shore-based rescuers. It has the fancy little, like, over the top, whatever this is for. You can put your radio. You can put your. Oh, please don't use an NRS knife. If you're buying a PFD this expensive, you can afford a better knife than that. I'm just like, you're not like firefighters are not spreading cream cheese. I mean, it's just you might actually need it as a firefighter. Anyway,
I think firefighters probably eat cream cheese as well.
Yeah, but they not while they're wearing this outfit. So, I mean, sure, these are cool. I don't think these are designed. These are designed for people from shore doing rescues, and so they have a lot of extra stuff on them.
Yeah, they're not. They don't look great for swimming in, and they don't look great.
I mean, they don't look terrible for swimming in. So
they have a lot of drag, all the pockets, all the bulky stuff, and all the stuff hanging off of them.
But I mean, I'd rather have somebody wearing this than a green jacket, right?
God, it's really ugly though.
This one's pretty. I mean, it's made for. It's ugly to you if you're a firefighter. It's badass. Yeah, it's just.
And if they made one without, I'd be psyched if they made one without the rescue harness on it.
Yeah, if they made like a plain one, they should call it like the Cavagnolo one. Oh, the Cavagnolo model. There you go. There's your leg loops. I mean, sure. If you want to have a rescue harness, this is probably the most basic one. If you want to have a rescue harness, I think this is the way to go. It depends if you want that look.
I'm gonna ask you something. If someone showed up like with wearing that life jacket to your scene on the river, and starts telling you how to do stuff, are you gonna take them seriously?
You mean a guest on a trip or somebody on
someone
shore?
a random private boater?
Random private boater. I mean, sure.
It just doesn't look like a boating life jacket.
Well, maybe it's because they're boaters and they're badasses.
Maybe.
I mean,
fair.
I would assume anybody who wears this likes to rescue. I'm gonna assume that, like, oh, that's a rescue person, and so I would. I have to say the placement of the rescue harness in this one looks a little high to me. You don't want it high below your arms because it'll just it's hard to explain, but it'll just kind of hold you high. I would put that rescue harness lower if I was going to use this one, but whatever. Yeah. I mean, I would buy this one and take the rescue harness off. Just take it off, and you have a great PFD. Right? If you take the rescue harness off, this thing is pretty sweet.
Go to the other one. I like the other one even better. The first one.
Which
one they said was ugly.
This one?
Yeah, those ones. Yeah. Are those also 32 pounds of flotation?
No, I think they're 26. I couldn't find the 32.
26. That's great. Yeah, 26.
Yeah.
And you're right. You can just strip it down. How much does it cost? Like $250.
$249. It's not bad.
It's not too bad.
Take the harness off. You'll glow in the dark, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's not a bad looking vest. That one actually looks pretty clean. Now it looks awful because it's got all that stuff on it. It's going to drown you.
Yeah. Sorry, we answered the question in a very roundabout way. Yeah, they're pretty cool. All right.
Actually, I like that one.
About the snazzy shaped oar handles. Never tried them. About the Gilman grips.
Mark has a comment below that. About
all right, let's Mark answer it. Hold on. What is it? Front or back? Probably not middle. Yeah, front or back. It's just, I think we're mainly answering. Yeah, we answered that question, Becky. I like them in the front or the back sometimes.
Yeah.
I think I've only sprung for them on one set of oars out of 4 sets. My general thought is when people name products after themselves, I kind of get weird. I'm like
the Cavaniel method. No problem. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you can't judge it by that, though, Zach.
I am.
The product itself may be good, or maybe to me it looks like it's too restrictive in where you can put your hand.
I think people that like them really like them. I'll tell you some disadvantages. For advantages, they feel cool. You know your blade is indexed. Cool. The downsides are if you're going to use your oars to set up a tarp, the Gilman grip doesn't fit through the little holes in the tarps, which affects me because I set up tarps a lot and I use my oars for tarps. 2, there's a right and a left oar. So every time you set your frame up, you got to make sure the right and left oar is the same place. Your spare can't have a Gilman grip. Your spare has to have a regular grip because that's to handle either side. And so you might find yourself rowing with one Gilman, one not Gilman, which could be awkward. It's already awkward enough to use a spare. And so, or if somebody else needs to use your spare, I guess you're good. So I'm going to say use pins and clips instead. But sure, if you don't mind those disadvantages.
Seems like some people really like them.
Yeah.
But I've never used them. Have you used them, Zach?
No.
See, none of us have used them. So we can't really comment on maybe it would be way better at rafting if we use them.
We probably would be. We need to be better too. So
maybe they can be our new sponsor. Sorry, NRS, you're out. Gilman grips. You're
just name it something different. Name it Ergo grips. Okay, maybe not. Gilman grips is good. It's fine. Simplicity is the best. What's worse, boat being heavy or oars too long? What's worse? I like both. I want a heavy boat with long oars, so I don't mind. I'll run oars a foot longer. If you have good oar management,
I'm gonna say it's worse having oars that are too short on most rivers than too long. On most rivers.
Oh, I'd rather have too long than too short for sure. Too short I can't row boats with oars too short. It's embarrassing.
I used to row 8-foot 11-inch oars.
On what kind of if that's a 4-foot boat, it's fine.
On Cherry Creek.
Yeah, you're running a stern
and
mount.
The blades were about as big as my palms.
It's a stern mount.
It was great because you could drop them into any eddy and you wouldn't get thrown out. I could just drop them in, and little like me, I could just sit in there and and it would cause the boat to pivot. Yeah.
And I like heavy boats. Even though Aaron said I don't, I like.
No, I didn't say you don't like them. I say you're not rowing them regularly, Zach.
I haven't paddle boating.
You probably spend 90% of your days rowing light boats.
That's not true.
Mhm,
Aaron,
that
I
is
still
true.
guide.
You do, but you boat a lot during the winter.
I
many-
kayak more than I row.
I'm
In the
like, how do
winter.
you get all that wind footage then?
I do the
I'd say
wind.
90%
I row
of
the
your
wind 10
footage
times.
is you rowing
Aaron,
the wind.
I row the wind like 10 times a
Doug's
winter.
even agreeing with me. Doug's like, yo,
Aaron,
I mean,
like
days on
maybe
the
10
water, a raft, Zach, you probably have more days in a lighter boat than a heavier boat.
guys,
but
hold on, stop. I've guided 13 trips this year already. Half
That's
of
a
those
lot.
are in gear boats.
That's a
So
lot.
that's probably like
Wow, you've got 13 trips. That's
I've been
impressive.
I've been on the water a lot. I've probably done 6 trips in an oar boat. Average trip is 30 days in an oar boat this year. Right.
Uh-huh. And how many days did you
I've
how
run
many
the
days did
wind
you
maybe
on the
10
wind ride?
times. Maybe 10
No,
times.
way more.
No, I've kayaked. I mean, I probably did
You
the
were,
wind
you
more,
were doing it every week last year.
Okay,
at
Zach,
least
I'm
once.
convinced.
by number of
Doug,
days, I'm
Doug,
rowing
how
gear
many
boats
times
more.
did you run the wind with Zach last winter?
No, I think he's 10, 15 maybe. But yeah, not like
Do you
20.
ran
Well,
it 10
5
to
are
15
kayaking.
times with Zach?
Yeah.
We probably did
Doug,
3 times together.
But the point,
Doug-
I think I hear what Zach's saying. Yeah, he's had 30 days on the water this year.
30 days of rowing boats, gear
boat.
boats,
Yeah,
probably.
that's a lot.
And I have like 2 or 3 more trips. Anyway, if I gear boat one middle floor trip, that's 6 days right there. That's a lot of wind trips.
Right.
By number of trips.
Because you guys run the sweet boats to take all the weight.
Aaron,
so
my June 7th trip was 3 gear boats. It was no sweet boat.
Okay, next
there's
question.
one trip. Yep, keep going.
I also rode 3 Illinois gear boats, dude. All right.
I know
So
those
anyway,
are light, so
I like.
I think
Oh my god. Anyway, I like both. I like heavy and longhorse personally. Breakaway method's a goodie. Mesh beaver tail sling is gangster. What's a mesh beaver tail sling? Is that the thing that goes over the top?
I think it's a bag.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about, Zach, is a bag.
Mesh
soft
beaver
mesh
tail.
bag.
Soft floors are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Swing, yeah.
Hatter, thanks you become a member. We appreciate it. Super nice of you. Thank you. You've been a long time supporter and follower. It really does mean a lot. Thank you.
Thanks.
The owner's guide has the loops to attach leg loops. Too much strap. I don't like them. May return for one tight strap. Yeah, their straps are just basically pretty simple. Preferred one. Yeah, you could just do one leg. It'd be fine.
Test it out too. I think the big thing is if you're going to use something like that, test it out.
Yeah.
Test it. Go float in it, play around with it, see what happens when it gets wet. Does it loosen up on you? Yeah.
Yeah, James, that's what we were thinking. If you take off all the stuff, that's probably a great PFD.
Yeah, it actually is. Yeah, you start looking at it a little closer. Yeah. There you go. Sean's got it. Yeah, that's a cool PFD.
Sean has it. Have the rescue up, stick the harness off, so the pockets open for a pass through on the sides. Yeah, sometimes an oar, like I have pockets and I don't have PFDs, and the oars get caught in there, kind of weird.
That's the problem with the NRS guide vest as well. It's got those weird.
There's not many options for a high float. We actually did it with a friend. We did a what's that called when you collect signatures online?
Petition.
But there's one in particular. We did a change.org. Hold on, I'm googling change.org.
That's right.
Or a high float PFD. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, totally. Signed it proudly, but clearly
there's a lot of people that want. Here we go. I'm gonna add it in right here. This is our change.org petition for a high float PFD. We have 213 signatures. And so if you want to let companies know that you want a higher float PFD, you can go to change.org and find this petition. Just Google change.org high float PFD to find it.
What happens when they get to 500 signatures?
Nothing. I don't know.
It says at 500
but
signatures.
The only thing we can do, people out there in the world, is sign this petition. And eventually one manufacturer will be like, maybe we should do this. Because right now that's all you can do is sign a petition. My favorite oar lock is pins and clips. Yep. Thinking about your first boat. Hold on. Why can't I show this? Oh, what did you get right and what did you get wrong? Dougie, you just bought your first boat. What did you get right and what did you get wrong?
Well,
What did
Okay,
you
so
get
it's an
first?
Air.
First of all, review what you got.
Yeah, I got an Air R13, R13, R130.
130R.
130R. Round tubes, totally round tubes, and 13-foot. A few things I did that I liked, I laced the floor in and I put about 20 little stainless steel O-rings or just rings when I laced the floor in as tie-down loops for things when I rig things or dry bags or whatever. So they're just laced into the floor about every foot or two. That was great. And then I did, Aaron, what you were talking about. At each corner of the boat, I have a foot-long loop of rope to grab if you flip to help yourself up.
Have you tried it out, Doug?
Yeah, it worked great. I haven't. I should think about how to get back in when it's upright though. That was a good thing you said earlier. But yeah, I tried it out. It was great. I haven't tried it in a rapid yet, just in a lake type situation. I got a mesh port bag made by Downriver Gear that has handles on it for extra grip, but also it wraps around the thwart. You can throw water bottles in it and stuff like that. I love that bag. That's about it, I think.
I think most people think they should get a diminishing tube boat, and they should not get a diminishing tube boat. And if you're going to get an oar frame, I think a lot of people get the wrong size oars. And it's not. It's because the people that sold you the boat don't know what the right size oar is.
I got 9.5-foot oars, but I haven't tried them yet.
How wide is your boat? How big is your boat? 13.
The 13.
13.
They're the right oars.
That's a good oar for
not for.
most stuff.
And you don't measure the oar size off the length of the boat. You measure off the distance between the oar locks.
Yeah.
So knowing what frame Dougie's going to get for that boat. Did you already get the frame, Doug?
Yeah.
Yeah, we based it on the frame. He got an NRS Longhorn.
Yeah.
And based on that size of frames,
I would like to get a compilation of all the people who build frames right now and have it in one place. Like these are all the people, because I feel like it's all word of mouth random, and it doesn't like it's not like you search a raft frame and they all pop up or something like that. So
sounds like a good project for you.
I know it is a good project for me. So I'd say, like, if you know someone, I'll put a blog post together about it. If you know someone who builds frames, send me a note with their contact info and their website and whatnot at aaron@riversnotions.com, and I'll compile it all and I'll put it all in one place so that it'd be nice to have, because when you want to get a frame, you're like, what are the options that are out there? Who's actually doing it? And what is everyone specialize in? So I'm needing a frame right now, and I'm trying to figure out where to get that done. So, and I don't think most of these people who build the frames aren't building what I'm looking for, but the frame thing's tricky.
Christopher, I'm going to tell you one thing that's going to make me think of a lot of people who sell frames and boats and oars. Never mind. I'm not going to say it. Forget it. Thanks. We can remember. So Gary's the one that did the change.org petition. Gary, thanks for being here. Thanks for doing the change.org petition.
Yeah, Gary, thank you. We definitely appreciate that.
Yep. Our favorite nonprofits to support. So I brought up American Whitewater. They're so efficient.
Nothing. I'll let Zach say his thing.
American Whitewater. They're for river protection and for access to rivers. They're by far the best.
Yeah.
And they're really efficient with the money. Like, money's well spent. I work with a lot of nonprofits. I see some nonprofits waste a lot of money on silly things. AW doesn't waste their money. It gets used for good things. So I definitely would support AW. Or Aaron was going to talk about calmeopsisguides.org.
Yeah, Calmeops Guides Association.
Yeah, which is a nonprofit that I started. That we do things for the calmeopsis. What's so funny, Aaron?
No, go ahead, Zach. Talk about it.
I mean, look at this. Look at this one. Hey, who's that handsome guy? Is that you, Aaron? Did the Calmeopsis Guides Association pay for you to go to DC to lobby Congress for river protection?
And I'm going to say something here.
Oh, maybe it did. So what's so funny, Aaron?
No, I'm going to say going and doing that, I didn't realize it became clear that they actually do care what you say when you show up there, and they do listen. Like I was pleasantly surprised. We went there like, oh, that'd be fun. Let's go check it out. And I was like, wow, man, I felt like it was very productive. Just like getting stuff in people's wheelhouse so they're aware that this is going on or what's going on with it. It seems like there's a lot of things that they just don't know about because there's so much stuff out there. So
one of the main things this nonprofit does is pay for a few guys to go to DC to lobby Congress. We haven't done it for a couple of years because of the pandemic, but I mean, I think it's what we're doing is really cool.
Yeah.
You gonna keep laughing at me, Aaron, or what?
No, I love your nonprofit.
All right.
It's just, yeah.
I got the boat that has the mesh holes, so it fills with water, which is great. I love it. It just takes, I have to let it dry out for about a day before I roll it up and put it in the garage.
So Doug, when you're carrying it up the hill, do you carry it up the hill right away, or do you put like halfway up and let it drain out for a while? Then put a farther drain out.
Unless I forget, which I do sometimes, I let it drain for at least 10 minutes. Yeah.
And then how much have you run it?
How many
days
trips?
have you gone on it now?
Maybe 12.
12. Why do you?
And how do you feel
how come
like
you go boating without me all the time?
I
guess you have.
I don't go that much with that.
Dougie has other friends. I always forget that.
What's that, Aaron?
Do you like the way it tracks?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's great. Tracks fine.
Oh, cool.
I don't really have too much to compare it to, I was gonna say, but because I haven't paddle boated much except for in Avons many years ago. But it seems to track fine. Yeah, that's it.
I'm a fan of diminishing tubes. To me, just don't get me started. They're just ridiculous. But I would say for a first time boat, you can't go this 130R. You can't go wrong with this boat. This thing is sweet.
Zach, why are you so against diminishing tubes?
Why are you for them?
I don't have a problem with them. You're against them.
Because they like Sean's right. They do submarine under big features. I think that diminishing tube boats were invented by outfitters who wanted to put more people inside boats and make people splash more. I think that's why they're invented. They're invented just to like make more money for outfitters and make class 3 seem like class 4, which is it's smart. It's a smart use of it. And then people started buying them for private boats thinking, oh, that sounds like a thing I want. And if you put gear in your bow and your stern, you have more room for gear, but you have less flotation when you go over a drop. And some people who actually run raft manufacturers tell me that diminishing tubes are better for like going over big drops, which I think is insane. So I think you want a lot of volume up front if you go over a big drop so the boat resurfaces. When you have less volume up front, the boat will resurface slower. It actually it'll be a little funky when it comes up. So
no,
from a performance standpoint,
to do one of those weird downstream flips,
like a corkscrew or something. From a performance standpoint, I want same size tubes all around. For putting more volume of stuff and or people in the boat, sure, and keeping the boat the same length, sure, diminishing tubes make some sense. Or for fishing, they can make sense. But for like whitewater, I just don't see any personal smart application for diminishing tubes.
Well, it means they have to use less material to build the boat.
Exactly, that too. It makes the boat cost less.
Yeah.
It saves money because it's less exactly. So I think that diminishing tube boats are a conspiracy put on us by outfitters and raft manufacturers. Man, an old yellow stripe high side going old school.
With the lace in floor, you're talking really old school there.
Yeah, that's what I started guiding in on the American was those old high sides. I don't think you'll find those anymore though. They're hard to find. I think this 130R and buying new it's $5,000. Not everybody can afford $5,000.
Yeah.
But these Air have a 10-year no fault warranty. You can run over with your car and send it to them and they'll fix it for 10 years. I'm pretty sure you can do that. Don't call them and say, hey, I ran over my car. But I've heard that that's what the case is. Like they will no fault. They'll fix it for 10 years. And so that's pretty bomber. I've heard some horror story from other raft manufacturers about their warranties, which made me think twice about buying certain brands. But yeah, this is a sweet boat. Good choice, Dougie.
Thanks, Zach.
I like. There's a lot of boats I like. If it's not just this boat, this is just comes to top of mind for me for best first boat. Like you could, if you had the money, like a Moravia or a Wing would be a great boat. If you're trying to like watch your money, Rocky Mountain is probably a good way to go. There's some different options. So
I think you know what? I think you can't go wrong with buying a used boat in a lot of ways. Though.
you can, come on, you can't go wrong by. What if it's a Lemon?
Yeah, but I think but if you're getting it cheap and it holds air, you can usually tell if it holds air. Then you get a starting point just to go out, try something out, and figure out what you like, and then you can go spend some money. But you know, it's hard to know without having used something like a 13 right, a 15 right. So, yeah.
Chamberlain at 8,000? No, wait, a 15-foot Chamberlain at 8,000.
I would want a bucket boat at Chamberlain at 8,000.
Well, we need to hear more about this. I mean, Chamberlain 8,000 is a deadly flow to be on that run at. Chamberlain, you're talking about Chamberlain Falls on the North Fork of the American at 8,000? I don't know. The people I know that have done it at 5 and 6 have come back in terror.
Yeah, Zach, I was on one of those trips with Dan
Martin.
Yeah, we did that together one day.
I did.
Yeah, and that guy who used to own what was it? What was the company he had?
First Descent, Last Descent Adventures. I worked for him a little. Dan and I worked for him a little bit.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of his company. It's something like
Descent.
Rapid Descents.
Something like that. Yeah. That's crazy. But 15-foot boat's a great size.
I agree, Willie Bum Bum.
Willie Bum Bum, I believe, imports them himself and sells them. So you should give us a little plug for how you can buy inexpensive China-made boats from pins with no top on them, or could slip right at the top. Damn.
Oh, wow. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
That's scary. 8,000, no business was great. First, jeez. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, the biggest I think I've done it's 3 maybe. I was just thinking about that. What's the highest I've ever done?
$3,000 is sporty.
Yeah,
what I did a couple years ago, just under 3, and it's sporty. It's really, I mean,
I'm pretty sure it's kayaking too.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd want to raft it. It's that high.
It's fun. It goes. It's fun though.
Yeah. I did Giant Gap once. It was 2,700. And
we were on that trip together.
Yeah, were you there? And yeah.
Yeah, remember the raft got lost downstream?
Yeah.
Or 2 rafts kind of got lost downstream.
And I was kayaking that day.
Yeah.
Until I wasn't. Until I lost my boat.
That's why you lost your kayak.
Yes.
Hey, Dougie, how many times have you swam on Giant Gap? Is it more than 10?
No, on Giant Gap, probably twice.
I know you
3
swam
times.
Twice in the same rapid.
Twice. I've only swam twice. No, sorry, 4 times. But they were both on just 2 trips. I swam twice the same rapid one time.
Twice on one rapid on the same trip.
Yes.
But can I tell the story? Do you know the story, Aaron? At Locomotive, he was hiking up to Scout. You know how the Locomotive has a right side wall? He slid down the wall, swam the rapid.
Perfect line.
From top to bottom.
Just down the right side wall.
Then he walked back up, scattered it, went to run it, and ran it while he was running the rapid.
Yeah. I had a terrible line in my kayak, a great line when I swam.
That's not good.
But that day went fine after that. The day with Aaron, the 2,700 day, I swam once. Well, I went under a cataract upside down. So I swam, pulled out.
That was Bubba's cataract.
Yeah. And then another time I lost my paddle at that one, so I had a spare, and I think I just went to paddle like 5 minutes after I got the spare out, and the blade broke off. So I swam then, and that's when I lost the boat. But I got it back a week later.
Wasn't that the homemade prepared? Was that the homemade paddle that you did? Like
no, that one was, I just borrowed it. It was a relatively solid paddle. It was
what boat, Dougie, were you in the H2 zone?
Yes. That was I just purchased it like maybe a month before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want a 9-foot, a 10.5 foot, or a paddle cat, Willie Bum Bum's your guy. He has less expensive Chinese-made boats for sale.
Are they like, they're basically the same as the ones that are no name, so we don't have all the advertising costs, but they're made in the same factory? Is that what we're
I
getting?
think I saw them. They're just plain. They don't say Willy Bum Bum on them. Although if they should say Willy Bum Bum.
I would spend more for Willy Bum Bum.
I would spend $1 more. Mix of welded and glued. All right, let's close this show up. I do want to share one thing I've been working on with you guys, and I'll talk about on the Friday show. I created the rescue curve.
Oh,
remember we've been talking about the rescue curve? Are we going to bore you, Aaron?
Oh man, you and I can.
What's the number?
Luckily, Doug's here.
The number is just like percentage of rescue. Let's just put it that way. So
percentage of success.
Sure, like prevention has 100% chance. Let's say if you're a good self-rescuer, you have like a 70% chance. And then your group rescue is like a 55% chance. And then there's not always others around. And so there's like a 5% chance.
So you're saying you're more likely to be able to self-rescue than to have someone else from your group help you?
Probably, yeah. But let me show you what I did. Boom. I made a new curve for solo boating, where it takes away the group rescue, right?
Yeah.
And then we can look at the area under the curve, how often you'd actually rescue in the wall.
So, I mean, my point here, I've been thinking about this. The area under the curve sort of represents your general rescue ability. Like
I thought that your probability of survival. That's what I think.
Your probability of survival. The more area under the curve, yeah, the more likely you are to survive. So, like when you solo boat, you have less area under your curve.
Yeah.
And then I did solo boating. What if you are bad self-rescuing? I dropped that down to like, what if you can't get back in your boat? Or even worse shape.
And your group is not good at group rescue.
Yeah. So here I had the group rescue. Well, you don't have you're solo boating, so you have no group rescue.
That's pretty good, Zach.
And then I made one. I'm like, hey, what happens if your self-rescue is pretty good and your group rescue is pretty good? Like I called this strong team. And there's probably others around. So I think the idea of the rescue curve is like you have to look at like your own ability to rescue yourself, the group, their ability to rescue. Like who's your group? Are they good? Are they athletic? Do they have skills? Are those around you? Are those people able to rescue you? And come up with your own curve. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it provides for a good discussion.
Yeah, I think just in terms of thinking why we don't solo boat, why we talk so much about self-rescue, I think this helps.
I think you should talk about prevention, like prevention changes too, because not everyone takes all the steps for prevention.
That's what I've been wondering is like, if you do prevent, almost like I want to make another piece. So prevention means you don't need rescue. So I'm almost going to say like, I might give that a different word. And then prevention, well, then some other word like prevention might be like the decisions you made before you went.
Yeah, exactly.
Because prevention
if you didn't go on the water, you're not going to have a problem.
Like if you went on the Norfolk American 8000, for example, your prevention is about a 20.
Yeah, exactly.
You weren't trying to prevent an accident. So so I think there's maybe like the accident didn't happen, and then prevention are like steps you took to prevent it, like whether or not to go on the trip,
proper equipment, like
flows, weather, like should you have even been there? And so the river you're on, maybe like if you're on the South Fork of the American, 1,000, your prevention can be pretty high. But if you're on the Norfolk American 8,000, that might change that.
You call it management?
I don't know, I gotta think about it. But I've been thinking about this a lot lately, so that I make this an actual curve, not just a line.
I think we get some more colors on it, Zach.
Well, I can put them all on one graph too. Like I can make a red one be something else.
Yeah. Red, yellow, and green.
Yep.
Like red.
I'm working on that.
Like the dummies.
I've just sort of. Oh, that's interesting. Red, yellow, green. I've just been sort of playing with this idea and thought I'd share it with you guys.
Yeah.
We go because this show, it's a Tuesday show. It's education. The Friday show will be entertainment, and we won't talk.
So
about
people are supposed to listen to what we have to say on Tuesday, but just not on Friday. So I have to save all my outlandish comments for Friday, is what I'm hearing.
I think that would be a good idea. But I think also I want to set the
I'm going to say
expectation.
the breakaway method that's education.
It's outlandish. That's outlandish.
Oh, no,
it's
that's education.
It's outlandish. But I think the Friday show has become just us having fun on a Friday. It's been a long week. We just want to let some steam off. We're having fun. I don't want people to think that's actually education.
Oh, it's time to go. Oh, geez. Here we go. Oh, boy.
Face
John.
cards. And hey, Aaron, you can pretend you don't like the face card thing, but in discussions I've had with you on the phone, not on this show, you've been like, oh, so-and-so's a jack. Oh, so-and-so's a 9.
No,
so
you asked me. You say, oh, I think that guy's this. And I'll be like, yeah, I guess.
No, you were into it.
See, you're into it. And I'll be like, I guess.
It's a good way to describe people. It is. You can't.
And what's the Joker mean? What's the Joker?
The Joker is me when I was 21. When you guys, my Joker phase. That was, those people. You know who the Jokers are, right?
I don't know.
Okay. Dougie knows what I'm talking about.
I know Zach when he was 21. Yeah.
I have some great photos. I have like a Joker folder of photos from back in the day. I'll have to bring out. Yeah.
Maybe you can show that on the show the show that's not the members only show.
No, we're still not even doing that.
That would make me become a member to see those. I would. Yeah.
Aaron's not a member?
I'm not a member. No.
Oh, I found one more. While I was looking through photos, actually, I got one more thing to share, and we'll go. How do I stop screen? I found this other photo that I think you both were on this trip that you guys. I've been looking through old photos the other day. Do you know who this is and where this is?
I gotta zoom in.
It looks kind of like my boat, but I'm not sure if that is.
Is it a Y?
It's a Y.
I had a Y of that color. Oh, I know where this is.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I think. Wait, was Dougie with us there? Dougie wasn't with us there, was he?
Dougie was with us. I thought it was me and Dougie, and we brought up on the show a few weeks ago. And Aaron, you said you were there, and I'm like, I can't believe you were there. I thought it was just me and Dougie for some reason. So I went to find the photos, and I only have 3 photos, and this is one of them.
What is it?
Do you know Aaron?
Yeah, it's on the eel.
Yeah, North Fork eel.
Yeah.
You remember, Dougie, you and Aaron and I hiked down. We did the main eel, Dos Rios to Outer Point. And then everybody left. And Aaron and you and I went and found this random put in. And we hiked down the hill.
I don't remember how much. I have to see the pictures.
Remember, so we paddled through a bunch of, you paddled through a bunch of there's a bunch of mining stuff down around the corner. Like we put in there, we came around the corner, there's a bunch of mining stuff we went through where the road went down, but they had the gate across the road so you couldn't access there.
Yep. Yeah, I think this is actually a side creek we put it on. Yeah. So we couldn't get to the river because of that gate. So we hiked down to the side creek and then paddled this creek down into North Fork Eel.
Yeah. I remember the names. I remember that situation. I don't remember the river that much, but and was this, what time of year was this?
Like February or something.
Yeah. We did one main eel trip, like the shortest day of the year in December one time. I remember.
This was that same trip. This is the one that was.
It's a high water trip.
Right? Yeah.
Right?
When it was like 50,000 and we did it in 2 days.
Yeah.
So this was then a couple days after that. Or like the day after that.
I swam on the main eel trip once.
Yeah. I found some photos of that trip.
Nice.
To share with you guys another time.
Yeah.
Okay. So should we wrap it up? If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the show. Hit that like button. Zach, we're going to be on Friday. Oh, and then if you're listening to the show, do you put the show on that thing? No, you don't put the show on there.
The Tuesday show doesn't go on the River Talk podcast.
Oh.
Thanks, Christopher.
And I like how we put the video show on the podcast, and the show where we don't show videos, we don't put on the podcast.
Hey, I had this long-term plan where maybe I'll do it, but I haven't quite got there yet. Like also the questions, I don't have to read the questions. Then we'd have to read the questions and whatever. So let's just keep it simple for now, and we'll think about doing it later.
Okay, Doug.
Enough criticism, Aaron.
That's what I'm here for. But hey, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for and so many members now. Man, everyone's like a member. This is like, you're almost like kind of like, if you're not a member, there's like peer pressure now to be a member.
Aaron, you're talking too much.
All right, well, let's end it.